I choose God. I choose God because He chooses me. He chooses me. And this is my last chance to answer the call. And this is me answering the call. I'm going to tell you a little story. So I have this mark in the middle of my forehead. And I've always had it. Even as a little girl. And then I started wondering, where did it come from? Because I don't ever remember being hurt. I don't remember being, having stitches in my forehead or anything like that. And there's no pictures of it. No one ever talks about it. So I started asking around. So I asked my aunt. She said she didn't know. I asked my grandmother just the other night, and she was like, I don't know. I said, Grandma, this mark is kind of deep. You understand what I'm saying? And it was like, I said, it looked like my hair got busted open or something. And she said, no, honey, we treated you like fine china. You ain't have no scars on you. I said, well, how did I get this indentation in the middle of my forehead? And after we parsed it out, turns out she didn't know either. She said, well, I'm going to ask your mother. I said, well, don't tell her I asked you. She said, well, I'm not going to lie. I said, well, good. But still don't tell her I asked you. Because, I don't think she knows either. She'll probably make something up, though. But how could I have such a gash in the middle of my forehead and no one remembers how I got it? Not even me. Like, I have to tame my ego a little bit because, I read the Bible. I read Revelations. And I ain't on no full shit. Trust and believe me. I swear to you, I love God. He has humbled me. He has humbled me. And I'm grateful for it. I am. I really am. Now back to my grandmother. She don't know neither. Nobody knows how I got this scar on my head. And there's this moment I remember from my childhood. I was running up and down the hallway because we lived in the projects. And I think I could hear my granddaddy saying, stop running up and down in the hallway. And I was like, what? And I smacked into something. I thought it was like the bedroom frame. I mean, like the door frame, But I keep seeing that. But I don't know if that's real or not, I question it. But I swear to you, no one knows how I got this scar. And my grandmother even said, what scar? I said, Grandma, I've had this scar since I was a child. I'm in pictures with it. She was like, I don't remember how you got that scar. And I had to remind my grandmother. She said, we treated you like fine china. I said, I'm still fine china, Grandma. I'm just in a bad situation. And we laugh, because I don't want to stress my grandmother with what's really going on with me. It's just me and my cat. It's just me and my cat. So I was outside smoking a cigarette not too long ago, and I was thinking about this man that I used to see back when I was gainfully employed. Like, I used to go to lunch in the summertime, and I used to go sit in a specific spot, and he used to be sitting there too, because there was a secret to that spot. Like in 98-degree weather, there's some AC coming out of there. So every day it was like the challenge of who would get there first. You know what I'm saying? And so over time, we got to know each other, and we started talking and everything. And, he was much older than me, at least by 20 years, at the time. I used to work over there. And so we started talking, we started chatting. Every day we would, rotate or who would sit in the air-conditioned spot. And we started talking. And then he admitted to me in one of our conversations that he had been in prison for murder for 28 years. He did 28 years in prison for murder. He was very intelligent. In one conversation, he said to me he was disappointed. He was like, he said to me, everybody's calling themselves kings, Everybody's calling themselves kings. But the kings own the land, The kings own the land. And not only that, they take care of the people. It's part of their responsibility. It's part of their responsibility. And there was a part of me that agreed with that. I agreed with that. I also asked him in one of our conversations, you committed murder, so would you do it again? And his answer surprised me. He said yes. And that's when I knew it was personal. I said, oh, that's some personal shit. I ain't even gonna ask him what was behind that. A man willing to probably be under the same circumstances and murder again and choose to, that's personal. I don't want to know. I respected his honest answer. I did. Something bad happened to him. Or somebody crossed him the wrong way. But I'll never forget him. He said in prison he learned to temper his desires, like the desire without sex, because then it brings him more into focus, something like that, and I think he said he did some fasting, because when you fast you meet God, He's around you. And not for no diet shit. But anyway, I might be stretching it a little, but I respected it. But I never forgot what he said. The kings own the land. These ain't no kings out here. That's what he said. They don't own shit but cars and jewelry and hoes. They don't own shit. They don't have no kingdoms. They not taking care of the people. You know? This is a man who did 28 years in prison, and he came out disappointed. A black man. I remember having that hope too when I was a teenager. When, you know, KRS-One and Chuck D and them was kings. Fight the power. I thought our music and our style and our culture would bring us everything. And it has. But I don't think the kings are taking care of the lands and the people on it. The people who have brought you your wealth. Forgotten. Just forgotten. He came out disappointed. And now I see why. He expected us to have more in terms of our own community, more in terms of owning the land, being our own asset to ourselves, amongst ourselves. But we are still not.